Wicked Implement is the newest exotic available in Season 21, and we're going to run through how to get it. To start, you're going to need to do some fishing. Each of the 3 fishing locations has its own unique exotic fish that you're going to need to catch. Aeonian Alpha Beta on the EDZ, Vexing Placoderm on Nessus, and Whispering Mothcarp in the Throne World. If you're watching this video the week it comes out, each location has improved exotic fish chance instead of the normal 1 location. Unfortunately, it's all RNG. It took me around 60 bait to get my last one, and your mileage may vary. So head to each location, maybe throw on a stream or some music in the background, and start fishing. When you turn in all 3 exotic fish at the helm, you will receive a broken blade from each one. And when you look at your fishing tackle, you will see broken blades have been claimed from the EDZ, Throne World, and Nessus. Now, you could just do this activity with one fire team member having all 3 broken blades, but then you'll be missing out on this dope emblem. So, the choice is yours. Next, you're going to want to head into Deep Dive. I would highly recommend doing this with a pre-made fire team for reasons that will become clear in a little bit. You are looking for 3 hive statues, similar to the ones in the Ghost of the Deep dungeon. The first statue is in the beginning of the methane section before you drop down with the hive lamp. You can follow along on screen, but if you fall down the hole before activating the statue, there's no way to get back up and you're going to have to restart the deep dive. For each of the 3 statues, only 1 member of your fire team needs to activate them, and you'll know it's activated when it glows red and you get Xivu Wrath dialogue. After that, you're going to head to the first encounter. You do not need to do the pressure trial, so I suggest skipping it because you're not going to spawn the chest at the end anyway. Complete the encounter and head on over to this room here on the left to find statue number 2. Collect another gift from Asa and head into the next methane section. The 3rd statue is after the giant spinning fan, off to the left before this drop down. Activate it and you'll head to the next encounter. After completing the encounter, the door on the right is now open and has 3 more hive statues. Each member of your fire team needs to activate a statue to drop the wall blocking your path in the methane. Now, I highly recommend you do this blind because it's a really good fight, but if you're struggling to get through it, come on back and I'll help you out. After making your way through the methane and killing some ads, you're going to meet Cool. You'll notice that you are doing very little damage to them. You need to kill the taken Minotaurs to get the buff Deadly Sharp, and once all 3 are dead, you'll have a minute and 15 seconds to do damage. Get Cool to his health gate and head on in. Once inside, you'll have 10 minutes to get through the encounter before getting kicked to orbit. Kill all the taken and hit the switch to the door. Rinse and repeat and hit the 2 switches, the original one and the one under the stairs, and keep going. Cool will appear again, and you're going to want to hit the switch located by one of the small pillars in the center to open the side doors to let out the Minotaurs. Once all 3 Minotaurs are dead, DPS the boss. When they die, head up the stairs to the rally. Precision weapons will be your best bet here, because now you have to deal with a Tormentor. Same thing as before, you're looking for 3 taken Minotaur again to DPS the boss. Once you drop down, you're going to want to spread out because the Minotaurs are scattered throughout this maze. Once all 3 are dead, the Tormentor will head back to the middle area and it's time for DPS. If you're struggling to find the Minotaurs, they will eventually show up as objectives on your HUD, but you're still going to want to be proactive in search because you are on a time limit. Again, you will have a minute 15 to DPS the boss, and then you're back to hunting Minotaurs. The area is a darkness zone, and if all 3 of you die, you will be sent back to orbit and have to start all over again. Keep the cycle of hunt to DPS going until the Tormentor dies. My team used a tractor cannon and 2 LMGs for the boss, and also had 1 person on well. Once the Tormentor drops, head up to the Veil statue to claim your new exotic scout rifle. There are also 7 pyramid objects scattered throughout the maze that get you a triumph and some extra dialogue from the statue. The objects will appear as objective markers when you get close enough to them and when you ADS your gun. I'm not going to show you where they all are because imagine caring about triumph score in the year 2023. The Scout's main perk is Creeping Attrition. Rapidly landing precision hits cause targets to become slowed. With its secondary perk being Tithing Harvest, precision final blows while Creeping Attrition is active create a stasis shard that returns to you. Collecting shards will refill the magazine. So after a few precision hits, Creeping Attrition activates and you'll begin to stack slow on targets, and if it hasn't died yet, it'll freeze. Collecting a shard with Tithing Harvest will fully restore your magazine, and shards will aggressively track to you from pretty far away, as you can see in the clip here. As of recording this video, it is unknown how to get the catalyst. I heard you get it as a random drop from Deep Dive. Some people think it's not out yet. Either way, I will update you when it is known. I ran the mission again and ran a legendary Lost Sector using my Osmiomancy Warlock and was a little underwhelmed by the gun. In the mission, I feel like I wasn't contributing to the team because by the time I could start to get the perk rolling, the group of ads was already dead because you're trying to go as fast as possible. While I was on my own hunting for the Minotaurs, I could actually get the slow and freeze to work, but the small play area made it difficult to execute. In the Lost Sector, I found more success, but still struggled a bit due to, again, the small play area. The gun did a great job keeping the barrier knights constantly frozen, but that was also in part to ice flare bolts retracking the knight. It did a nice job on the Unstoppable Ogre as well, but it still felt underwhelming, and I would much rather use something like Conditional Finality or Agra's Scepter if I'm going for some sort of stasis setup, or Quicksilver Storm and run Strand if I'm going to use my exotic slot on a primary weapon. In PvP, it's a scout rifle, and the problem with scout rifles in PvP is, say it with me, they aren't pulse rifles. Exactly. If you can get the perk to activate, it can work out real well, so maybe on some maps with longer sight lines it could work, but for me, I'm probably sticking to something like No Time or an SMG. At Gambit, overall, the exotic mission itself is really fun and a nice race against the clock like exotic missions of old. The gun itself is alright, but not something I see putting into my regular rotation of weapons. Maybe when we get some stasis perks and the artifact, we'll revisit this weapon. PSA, for all you stuck around to the end, Danielle and I will be at TwitchCon Paris. So if you are going, please do not hesitate to come up and say hi. I would love to meet you. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.